Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling something that I think a lot of people dream about but also find pretty intimidating: buying a home. And to add another layer, we're specifically looking at doing that in Quebec. Our guide for this deep dive is How to Buy a House in Quebec by Rita Chablis, which promises to make the whole process much clearer. Whether you're seriously considering buying soon or just curious about the steps involved, I think you'll find some interesting takeaways here. And to help us really extract the gems from this book, we've got our expert on hand. Now, the book kicks off by asking a very fundamental question: why buy a home in the first place? I think we all have our own reasons. But I was struck by a specific point that Chablis makes in Chapter 1 about the psychological impact of homeownership. He suggests that it's not just about having a place to live, it's about creating a space where you feel truly in control, a haven where you can escape the pressures of the outside world.
What's interesting is that he connects this to financial well-being as well. He argues that owning a home can actually reduce stress related to finances because you're building equity and have more predictability over your housing costs. He even uses the image of tearing up your lease to really highlight that sense of liberation from the renter's mindset.
I love that. It's like a visual representation of breaking free from those monthly rent payments. And speaking of finances, the book doesn't shy away from the practical benefits of homeownership either. He dives into how real estate has historically appreciated in value, allowing homeowners to build wealth over time. But he doesn't just throw out vague promises. He lays out a clear formula for calculating potential long-term gains, taking into account factors like mortgage payments, property taxes, and estimated appreciation rates.
It's refreshing to see that level of detail because it helps you move beyond just those aspirational feelings and actually start crunching the numbers to see if homeownership aligns with your financial goals. He also reminds readers that the financial benefits extend beyond potential appreciation. For example, in Quebec, there are specific tax deductions available to homeowners that can significantly reduce your tax burden. These are often overlooked, but can make a real difference in your overall financial picture.
Okay, so we've got the emotional peace of mind, the potential for financial growth, but there's another advantage he highlights that I think speaks to a very deep human need: the luxury of space. He argues that owning a home provides the freedom to create a space that truly reflects your personality and lifestyle, something that can be really hard to achieve when you're renting.
He actually encourages readers to think about the vocation of their future home. What role do you want it to play in your life? Is it a family hub for gatherings and celebrations? A peaceful retreat for relaxation and solitude? A creative space where you can pursue your passions? Defining that vocation early on can help you narrow down your search and focus on properties that truly align with your needs and aspirations.
That's such a great point. It's about moving beyond just the number of bedrooms and bathrooms and really considering how you want to live in this space. And speaking of different spaces, Chapter 2 dives into the various property types that are available in Quebec, from single-family homes to condos to plexes. I was surprised to learn that Quebec has a unique type of property called a divided co-ownership, where you own both your individual unit and a share of the land it sits on.
It's kind of a hybrid model that combines the benefits of condo ownership with the advantages of owning land. He goes into detail about the pros and cons of each property type, helping you weigh factors like maintenance responsibilities, shared costs, and potential for appreciation. This is where his expertise in the Quebec market really shines through, providing insights that you might not find in a more general home buying guide.
Right. And he doesn't stop at just describing the property types. He tackles the often debated question of new versus pre-owned homes. While acknowledging the allure of a brand new move-in ready space, he reminds readers that older homes often come with more character and can be at a much better value, especially if you're willing to put in some sweat equity.
He even provides a checklist of things to look for when evaluating a pre-owned property. Things like the condition of the roof, the foundation, and the electrical system. These are crucial considerations that can help you avoid costly surprises down the line. And of course, he stresses the importance of setting a realistic budget early on, factoring in not just the purchase price, but also closing costs, potential renovations, and ongoing maintenance expenses. He provides a really detailed breakdown of these costs, specific to the Quebec market, so you can get a clear picture of the true financial commitment involved.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork, understanding the why behind buying a home, and starting to envision our dream space. But now we need to face the part that often makes people the most nervous: the legal and logistical side of things. Chapters 3 and 4 dive into the role of the real estate broker and the unique legal landscape of buying a home in Quebec. And to be honest, this is where I start to feel a little overwhelmed. All that jargon, the paperwork, the regulations, it can feel like a minefield.
I think that's a common feeling. But the book actually does a great job of breaking it down into manageable steps. He starts by explaining the role of the OACIQ, which is the regulatory body for real estate brokers in Quebec. It's not just about setting ethical standards, it's about providing concrete protections for buyers. For example, let's say you have a dispute with your broker over a misrepresented property. The OECIQ can investigate the situation and potentially impose disciplinary measures on the broker, or even help you recover financial losses.
Wow, I didn't realize they had that much power. It's reassuring to know there's a system in place to protect buyers from unethical practices. And speaking of brokers, the book also mentions the amendments to the Real Estate Brokerage Act. What are the key takeaways from those changes?
One of the most significant changes is the introduction of stricter rules regarding brokerage contracts. Previously, it was common for buyers to be automatically bound by a contract with a broker, just by attending a showing or making an inquiry. Now the law requires brokers to provide clear and explicit information about the terms of the contract before any agreement is made. This gives buyers more control over their relationship with a broker and prevents them from being locked into an agreement they don't fully understand.
That's a huge win for buyers. It sounds like these amendments are really aimed at creating a more transparent and equitable playing field. So we're starting to get a feel for the legal landscape, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about one of the biggest hurdles for many aspiring homeowners: financing. Chapter 5 tackles budgeting and borrowing capacity. And this is where things can get really real. I know I personally have a lot of anxieties about mortgages and interest rates and all that stuff. It can feel pretty daunting.
It's definitely the aspect of home buying that requires the most number crunching and careful planning. But Chablis breaks it down in a way that makes it feel less intimidating. He emphasizes the importance of understanding your complete financial picture before you even start looking at properties. He actually suggests creating a detailed budget that tracks not just your income and expenses, but also your existing debts and any potential future costs, like those related to starting a family or changing careers. This helps you determine a truly realistic borrowing capacity and avoid stretching yourself too thin.
That's a really practical tip because it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of searching for a home and forget about the long-term financial implications. Speaking of mortgages, the book goes beyond the basics and dives into specific mortgage products that are popular in Quebec. For example, he explains the difference between conventional mortgages and those insured by the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, CMHC, highlighting the pros and cons of each option.
He also provides a clear explanation of the various interest rate options available, such as fixed rates, variable rates, and hybrid mortgages. He even includes real-world examples to illustrate how different interest rate choices can impact your monthly payments and the total cost of your mortgage over time. This helps you make informed decisions based on your risk tolerance and financial goals.
That level of detail is so helpful because it's easy to get lost in all the technical jargon surrounding mortgages. And it's not just about understanding the different mortgage products, it's also about knowing what lenders are looking for when they evaluate your application.
Absolutely. He dedicates a whole section to explaining the criteria that lenders use to assess your creditworthiness, including your credit score, your debt-to-income ratio, and the amount of your down payment. He also reveals some insider tips for improving your credit score and strengthening your application. For instance, he suggests obtaining a copy of your credit report well in advance of applying for a mortgage, allowing you time to identify and address any errors or discrepancies that could be negatively impacting your score.
That's such a proactive approach. It's about taking control of your financial situation and presenting yourself in the best possible light to lenders. But even with a strong financial profile, there's still the issue of closing costs. Those can be a real surprise for first-time buyers if they haven't budgeted for them properly.
He definitely doesn't sugarcoat that aspect. He provides a comprehensive list of potential closing costs in Quebec, which can include things like legal fees, appraisal fees, land transfer taxes, and title insurance. He even gives estimated percentages for each cost based on the purchase price of the property. This allows you to create a realistic budget and avoid any unpleasant surprises when it comes time to finalize the deal.
Okay, so we're armed with a solid understanding of the financial side of things. But before we jump into the actual house hunt, I think it's important to take a step back and acknowledge that buying a home can be an emotional roller coaster. There are bound to be ups and downs, moments of excitement and moments of doubt. And Chablis addresses this in Chapter 6, where he highlights some common mistakes that first-time buyers make, often driven by those emotional highs and lows.
One of the first mistakes he cautions against is neglecting to get pre-approved for a mortgage before you start looking at properties. It's tempting to jump right into browsing listings and attending showings, But getting pre-approved not only gives you a clear understanding of your budget, but also strengthens your position when it comes time to make an offer.
It's like having your financial ducks in a row, showing sellers that you're a serious and qualified buyer. He also talks about the importance of choosing the right real estate broker. It's not just about finding someone who seems friendly or who has a lot of listings. It's about finding someone who truly understands your needs, who you can trust to guide you through the process, and who will advocate for your best interests. He actually suggests interviewing multiple brokers before making a decision, asking specific questions about their experience in the Quebec market, their negotiation style, and their communication practices.
He also cautions against the temptation to fall in love with the first property you see. While that initial emotional connection is important, it's crucial to maintain a level head and objectively evaluate the property's condition, its location, and its overall alignment with your needs and budget. He reminds readers that buying a home is a significant financial investment, not just an emotional decision.
It's easy to get swept away by the allure of a beautiful kitchen or a spacious backyard, but we need to remember that we're making a long-term commitment, not just buying a pretty picture. He also warns against rushing into a decision just because you're feeling pressured by the market or by competition from other buyers. He encourages buyers to trust their instincts and to walk away from a deal if it doesn't feel right, even if it means missing out on a particular property.
He reminds readers that there's always another house out there, and that patience and careful consideration are key to finding the right property for you. He also emphasizes the importance of thoroughly researching the neighborhood before making an offer. This goes beyond just checking out the local schools and parks. It involves delving into the history of the area, understanding zoning regulations, and researching any planned developments that could impact the property's value or your enjoyment of the neighborhood in the future.
It's about taking a holistic view of the location and not just focusing on the property itself. I love that approach because it ensures that you're not just buying a house, but investing in a community that you'll be happy to call home for years to come. Speaking of expertise, Chapter 7 introduces the key professionals you'll want on your team during the home buying journey. It's like assembling your home buying A-team.
He starts by emphasizing the importance of a mortgage broker who can help you navigate the complex world of financing. He suggests seeking out a broker who has a strong reputation in the Quebec market, who is familiar with the various mortgage products available, and who can provide personalized advice based on your specific financial situation. He even encourages readers to ask for referrals from friends or colleagues who have recently purchased homes, as word-of-mouth recommendations can be invaluable.
It's like having a financial advisor who's solely dedicated to helping you secure the best possible mortgage. He also highlights the role of the building inspector, someone who can provide an unbiased assessment of the property's condition. He suggests looking for an inspector who is certified by a reputable organization, like the Canadian Association of Home and Property Inspectors, CAHEI, and who has experience working with older homes, which often have hidden issues that are not immediately apparent.
He provides a detailed checklist of things that a good inspector should cover, from the foundation and roof to the electrical and plumbing systems. He even reminds readers that they have the right to be present during the inspection and to ask the inspector questions about their findings. This helps you understand the full scope of any potential issues and make informed decisions about whether to proceed with the purchase or to negotiate repairs with the seller.
It's about being an active participant in the process and not just relying on someone else's assessment. He also mentions the importance of a notary, a legal professional who plays a unique role in the Quebec real estate market.
The notary ensures that all legal documents are properly prepared and signed, that the transaction is conducted in accordance with Quebec law, and that both the buyer and the seller are protected throughout the process. They act as an impartial third party, verifying titles, registering the sale, and ensuring that all funds are distributed correctly.
Okay, so we've got our financial expert, our property detective, and our legal guardian angel. It sounds like we're well equipped to handle the complexities of buying a home. Now comes the fun part, the part I've been looking forward to. Finding our dream home. Chapters 8 and 9 dive into the search process and the steps involved in finalizing the purchase.
And Shebley provides a strategic roadmap for navigating this exciting but often overwhelming stage. He encourages buyers to work closely with their real estate broker to define their search criteria, taking into account factors like location, property type, size, and budget. He even suggests creating a visual mood board or a digital scrapbook of inspiring homes to help you solidify your vision and communicate your preferences to your broker.
I love that idea. It's like bringing your dream home to life before you even start looking at listings. But he also reminds readers that flexibility is key. Sometimes the perfect property isn't exactly what you envisioned, but it might have other qualities that surprise you and ultimately fulfill your needs in unexpected ways.
He encourages buyers to keep an open mind and to be willing to compromise on certain features if it means finding a property that truly feels like home. He also provides valuable tips for making the most of property showings. He suggests going beyond just looking at the aesthetics and considering the flow of the space, the natural light, the noise level, and the overall feel of the neighborhood. He even reminds readers to pay attention to their gut instincts. If something feels off about a property, even if you can't quite put your finger on it, it's worth taking a step back and carefully considering whether it's the right fit for you.
It's about trusting your intuition and not letting yourself be swayed by pressure or external factors. Now, once you've found a property that checks all the boxes, it's time to make an offer. And this is where the promise to purchase comes into play. This can be a daunting document, filled with legal jargon and potential pitfalls, but Chablis breaks it down in a way that makes it feel less intimidating.
He explains that the promise to purchase is essentially a contract between the buyer and the seller, outlining the terms of the sale, including the purchase price, the conditions of the sale, and the deadlines that need to be met. He emphasizes the importance of including contingencies or conditions that are important to you, such as a satisfactory home inspection, securing financing, or even the sale of your existing property. These contingencies protect your interests and give you an out if something unexpected arises during the due diligence period.
So it's like having a safety net built into the agreement. But even with those contingencies, it's crucial to pay close attention to the deadlines outlined in the promise to purchase. Missing a deadline, even by a day, can have serious consequences, potentially jeopardizing the entire deal. He stresses the importance of being organized, communicating clearly with your broker and your notary, and staying on top of all the paperwork and legal requirements.
He also provides valuable insights into the art of negotiation. While it's important to stand firm on your non-negotiables, he encourages buyers to approach the negotiation process with a spirit of collaboration and compromise. He suggests coming prepared with a clear understanding of your budget, your priorities, and your willingness to walk away from the deal if the terms are not acceptable.
It's about finding that sweet spot where both the buyer and the seller feel like they've reached a fair agreement. And once the negotiations are complete and the promise to purchase is accepted, the focus shifts to finalizing the financing, completing the legal paperwork, and preparing for the big day, the closing.
He guides readers through these final steps, explaining the role of the notary in ensuring that all legal documents are in order, that the funds are transferred correctly, and that the ownership of the property is officially transferred to the buyer. He also highlights the importance of conducting a final walkthrough of the property before the closing, ensuring that it's in the condition agreed upon in the promise to purchase, and that any agreed-upon repairs have been completed.
So it's like one last check to make sure everything is in order before you officially become the owner. What an incredible journey.
He's taken us from the initial spark of the home buying dream, all the way through to the moment you hold those keys in your hand. But wait, there's more. He dedicates separate chapters to the unique considerations of buying a condo, additional mistakes to avoid in the later stages of the home buying process, and even the practical and emotional aspects of moving and settling into your new home.
Wow, we're not done yet. I'm on the edge of my seat. Tell me more about those final chapters.
Welcome back to our deep dive into buying a home in Quebec. We've covered so much ground already, but there's still more to explore. I'm especially curious about Chapter 10, which focuses on the specific considerations of buying a condo. I know a lot of people, especially first-time buyers, are drawn to condos because they can be more affordable and require less maintenance than a detached home. He definitely acknowledges those advantages, but also emphasizes that buying a condo is a unique experience with its own set of factors to consider. One of the key differences is the concept of shared ownership and the associated fees and regulations. He dives deep into the world of condo fees, explaining that they cover not just the maintenance of common areas, but also contributions to a reserve fund for major repairs and renovations. He cautions buyers to carefully analyze the condo association's financial statements and to understand the history of special assessments, which are additional fees that can be levied on owners to cover unexpected expenses.
So it's not just about looking at the monthly fee itself, it's about understanding the overall financial health of the condo association and making sure they're adequately prepared for future expenses. He also delves into the legal framework that governs condos in Quebec, specifically mentioning Law 16, which was introduced to improve transparency and protect condo owners' rights.
He explains that Law 16 requires condo associations to provide detailed financial reports to owners, to hold regular meetings, and to follow strict procedures for managing the building and making decisions about repairs and renovations. This level of transparency gives buyers more confidence in the condo association's management and helps ensure that their investment is protected.
It sounds like Law 16 really empowers condo owners and gives them more control over their living environment. He also highlights the importance of understanding the Declaration of Co-Ownership and the bylaws that govern the condo building.
He explains that these documents essentially outline the rules and regulations of living in the condo, covering everything from noise levels and pet restrictions to the use of common areas and the process for making changes to your unit. It's crucial for buyers to read these documents carefully before making an offer, as they can significantly impact their lifestyle and their enjoyment of the property.
It's like signing a contract for a specific way of life, so you want to make sure it aligns with your expectations and preferences. Now, even though we're getting close to the finish line, Chablis throws in a bonus chapter. Chapter 11, dedicated to highlighting even more potential pitfalls that buyers can encounter in the later stages of the home buying process. He really wants to equip readers with all the knowledge they need to make smart decisions and avoid costly mistakes.
And he doesn't just repeat the general advice we've already discussed. He focuses on mistakes that are specific to the final stages, like the inspection, the negotiation, and the closing process. For instance, he warns buyers against falling into the trap of waiving the home inspection to make their offer more appealing to the seller. He reminds readers that the inspection is a crucial step in protecting their investment, and that waiving it can expose them to significant financial risks. If hidden problems are discovered later on,
It's tempting to do whatever it takes to win a bidding war, but it's not worth sacrificing your peace of mind and potentially inheriting a money pit. He also cautions against overlooking the small print in the various contracts and legal documents. He encourages buyers to carefully review all the details, to ask questions about anything they don't understand, and to seek legal advice if necessary. He stresses that even seemingly minor clauses can have significant implications down the line. So it's crucial to be informed and to advocate for your own best interests.
he also warns against getting caught up in the excitement of the purchase and rushing through the final walkthrough of the property. He reminds buyers to take their time, to carefully inspect every room and system, and to document any discrepancies or issues that need to be addressed before the closing. This final walkthrough is your last chance to ensure that the property is in the condition agreed upon in the promise to purchase, and to avoid any unpleasant surprises after you take possession.
It's about maintaining that level of due diligence and attention to detail, even when you're feeling the emotional pull of finally getting the keys to your new home. Now, once you've successfully navigated all those potential pitfalls, and the deal is officially closed, it's time to move in. Chapter 12 tackles the practical and emotional aspects of this transition, recognizing that it can be a stressful but also incredibly rewarding experience.
He starts by providing a practical checklist of tasks to complete before and after the move, covering everything from updating your address with various institutions to transferring utilities and arranging for movers. He even reminds readers to pack a first night box with essential items like bedding, toiletries, and snacks, making that first night in your new home more comfortable and less chaotic.
It's about anticipating those little details that can make a big difference in easing the stress of the transition. He also acknowledges the emotional side of moving, recognizing that it can be a bittersweet experience.
He encourages readers to take the time to say goodbye to their old home and to create rituals or traditions that mark this significant life change. He suggests hosting a farewell gathering, taking photos of cherished spaces, or writing a letter to your old home expressing gratitude for the memories made there.
I love those ideas. It's about acknowledging the emotional weight of the move and finding meaningful ways to honor the past while embracing the future. And speaking of embracing the future, the final chapter, Chapter 13, focuses on the long-term view of homeownership, encouraging readers to think beyond the initial purchase and to develop a plan for protecting their investment and managing their finances as homeowners.
He starts by emphasizing the importance of creating a realistic budget that accounts for all the ongoing costs associated with owning a home, including mortgage payments, property taxes, utilities, insurance, and maintenance expenses. He suggests setting up a separate savings account specifically for home-related expenses, allowing you to plan for unexpected repairs or upgrades.
It's about shifting from that renter's mindset to a homeowner's mindset, taking responsibility for the upkeep of your property and ensuring its long-term value. He also stresses the importance of home insurance, reminding readers that it protects not only the physical structure of their home, but also their belongings and their liability in case of accidents or damage. He encourages buyers to shop around for the best insurance rates and to carefully review their policy to ensure it provides adequate coverage for their needs.
He also provides a fascinating case study in this chapter, sharing the story of Sarah, a first-time homebuyer who successfully navigated the Quebec market and found her dream starter home. He uses Sarah's story to illustrate the key principles he's discussed throughout the book, and to show that achieving the dream of homeownership is within reach for anyone who's willing to put in the effort, do their research, and follow the steps he's outlined. Yeah.
It's a really inspiring example that brings all the information together and shows that this complex process can lead to a truly rewarding outcome. So there you have it. We've taken a deep dive into the world of buying a home in Quebec with Retta Chablis as our guide, exploring everything from the initial why buy question to the practicalities of moving in and managing your finances as a homeowner.
He's provided a truly comprehensive roadmap for navigating this exciting but often daunting journey, equipping readers with the knowledge, tools, and confidence they need to make informed decisions every step of the way.
Whether you're actively planning to buy a home in Quebec or simply curious about the process, I think we can all agree that this deep dive has offered valuable insights and practical tips that can help us approach this significant life decision with more confidence and clarity.
He's demystified the complex world of real estate, empowering readers to take control of their home buying journey and make choices that align with their financial goals, their lifestyle, and their dreams for the future.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. If you were to buy a home anywhere in the world, what would be the one non-negotiable feature or element that would make it truly your dream space? Think about it, and maybe even start your own home buying journey today. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge and diving deeper into the world around you.